take a look at this report where we break down for you all that happened on day 2 of the G20 summit and largely the bonhomie, the friendship that's on display right now between world leaders and Prime Minister Modi.
From bonhomie with US President Biden to UK Prime Minister Sunak to Italian Prime Minister Meloni, this G20 summit was all about dosti and diplomacy. As he explained the Konark wheel to President Biden and later the Sabarmati Ashram in detail, Prime Minister Modi's rapport with US President Biden was on full display. The chemistry between the two leaders was the highlight of G20 summit. Prime Minister Modi's bond with Rishi Sunak also stole the limelight. On day 1 of the summit, the moment Sunak saw Modi, he greeted him with a namaste and a warm hug. And on the second day of summit, both leaders were seen strolling together after paying homage to Mahatma Gandhi. Rishi Sunak, who is first Indian origin Prime Minister of the UK, has often expressed his admiration for Modi.
I have enormous respect for Modi ji, and he's been personally very warm and kind to me, and we're working very hard, as I said, on our shared ambition of concluding an ambitious and comprehensive trade deal between India and the UK, because both of us think that would be a good thing.
Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni also shared a light-hearted moment with Prime Minister Modi as she arrived for the G20 summit. It was Meloni who hailed Modi as most loved leader of the world when she met him in March this year.
I firmly believe that there's a lot that we can do together. This will lead me to the approval rate that the Prime Minister Modi has reached. I think is the most loved one of all around the world. But I mean, this has really proven that he has been a major leader, and congratulations for that.
With Prime Minister Modi's good ties with the world's tallest leaders, the formula of dosti and diplomacy is yielding great results for India. Bureau Report, India Today.
It's been a hectic 2 days for all of our reporters who've been at the Bharat Mandapam, getting you every single update and ensuring that the news reaches you first, the India Today viewer, on what's happening in the G20 summit. I'd like to introduce on this broadcast Gaurav Sawant, our managing editor. We also have with us Abhishek Bhalla, Paulami Saha. We'll also have Geeta and Moshmi joining us in just a bit. But good evening to all of you. I know you all had a long 3 days going into the Bharat Mandapam early into the morning and then non-stop reporting from the media center. Gaurav, to you first. So many takeaways really from the G20 summit. I think it's more than lived up to expectations. It's surpassed expectations. But to you, what was the biggest takeaway, Gaurav, that, you know, the world will remember this G20 for?
So the world will remember this G20 for African Union being a part of the G20. The world will remember this G20 for all the countries signing on the dotted line on all the 83 paragraphs with no footnotes. The world will remember this G20 for commitments that have been made, and in some instances the first step being taken towards helping improve climate in terms of Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister of Britain, committing $2 billion just at the beginning. But what will India remember this for? This is India's moment. This is India's moment where India is on the center stage. The line that India had taken, and right from the beginning, when it came to the Ukraine conflict, India, right from step one, from day one, had said, one, not an era of war. Two, it's only through dialogue and diplomacy that you need to find a solution. Now, close to 2 years after that conflict started, the world has come around to that point. Three, when it comes to G20, India had repeatedly made that point. This is not the platform. United Nations is the platform to discuss security issues. Of course, the world then argued it because of food, fuel and fertilizer. This becomes an issue for G20. On that aspect, Ukraine was discussed. But one aspect of G20 cannot be more important than another aspect, which is bringing the global south and ensuring their needs are met. That was India's consistent stand, and the world has accepted India's stand. So I think India's leadership position is something that stands out for me in this G20. All the points that India made right from step one, what Prime Minister was saying from day one, the world has accepted all those points.